Dun 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 dun. So, Twevy versus Andy. Check it out. Alright. Thank God this isn't random. The amount of places someone can hide an expo is... Hellions. Man, Hellions. It's not so hard to scout expos once you get one Hellion. The gas steal. I always just ignore the gas steal because you're not going to need gas for so damn long. Whatever. You know, this is bad. Getting distracted by the gas steal delayed that SCV by quite a bit. This command center, be ballsy, man. Because basically, other than a 6 pool, there is nothing Zerg will ever do that will prevent you from being able to get this command center up, because you're going to be pushing out with these first Marines to go put pressure on him. So even if he has enough stuff to stop them when they get there, he's not going to be coming and shutting down your expo. So yeah, definitely get this up at your expo, and then get a bunker up here, and then all during this push. Because the amount of mining time you lose, like, it's done right now, so you could be mining down at your lower base, but instead you're stuck up here. This is actually quite bad. It's 6 minutes, and you're short by 4 SCVs. I've been glancing at this command center periodically, and yeah, you're definitely missing a lot of SCVs. This is a big problem with the early pressure, is that in the late game, Terran macro is simplified dramatically because we have all our production facilities up. We've already gotten enough supply depots so that we never need to build them anymore. So, you know, everything's easy peasy. You can pay very close attention to your army, and your base just takes care of itself. But in this early stage, you got a lot of things you got to remember back home. And trying to attack at the same time as you make sure to keep up on SCVs and not fall behind on supply depots, and also getting your command center down here and a bunker here. It can be overwhelming, so you got to practice it. But luckily, you're going to do the exact same opening every time, TvZ. So it's really not a big deal. I like saying snot. The purpose of those early Marines is to make him waste larva that he wants to be using on drones on Lings. And this mass queen build that people have been doing lately kind of it wastes the money that he wanted to spend on drones on queens, but it doesn't waste larva. So anyway, I would say even though units lost wise, you lost more than you gained there. That's always bad, but you did okay. You forced him to get 4 queens, and that's fine. That's good. That means his economy is going to be behind yours. Now, he's ahead by 5, which means with a mule he's actually ahead by 1. So you guys have basically even economies. But there's a big problem, and that is you didn't build your command center on the low ground, so you're not mining at your expo yet. But also, you got these gas so early that you're going to be really high on gas and really low on minerals throughout the entire duration of this game, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, maybe not the entire duration of the game, but definitely throughout the early game. So yeah, the point of that early Marine pressure is to buy you the distraction you need to get that expo up. So definitely stop building this expo on the high ground and start building it on the low ground. And don't miss SCV queues in the early game, because now that you've hit and he has several queens, and usually they'll get a sunken, a spine crawler or whatever, he's just going to be droning up from now on. So you need to already be ahead on workers. And with 2 mules, that counts as 8 workers. So even though you're behind by 7, you're actually ahead by 1 economically. So that's good. But you're still quite far behind where you want to be. You'll lose a lot of games doing what you're doing now, which is to do the early pressure, get some SCVs up at your main, and then try to take the low ground. Because what'll happen is your early push will do what it's supposed to do, which is to force him to make a bunch of Lings and get Ling speed. And then he'll be like, well, I got a bunch of Lings anyway, I might as well camp them down here and prevent the Terran from taking his expo. And then you won't be able to secure your expo. And you'll lose these SCVs and those bunkers and just not be able to secure this expo. So you're just kind of lucky that his army size is 4. and so you're able to secure the low ground. But really start building this command center on the low ground from the beginning, because trying to take the low ground later is hard. He can prevent that, and you'll lose the game straight up just because you couldn't ever secure your low ground first expansion. So yeah, as you're pushing across midfield, you're building this bunker, so the low ground is safe like the entire game. And getting the command center out super early isn't as important as keeping up on SCVs and getting the bunker up and doing the early marine whatever push. Because honestly, until 8 minutes, you're not even fully saturated on one base, or 6 minutes. So starting your expo at 5 minutes or starting your expo at 6 minutes, it's not going to make much of a difference, because either way your expo is going to be up before you're oversaturated. He's got this huge economic lead over you, and this is because it's 10 minutes into the game and you want to have 44 workers right now. Let's go all the way to 10 minutes. Alright, so right now you should have 44 workers and you have 30. So you are so far behind where you need to be at this point that there's very little you can do to win this game, this sort of game. And a big part of that is you took your gas too early, and you took the low ground expo too late, and you missed a lot of SCV queues early on. And by emphasizing gas too heavily, you end up with less minerals, and the minerals are what you need to keep up on SCV production and marine production, so that you both don't die and have a big economy. So you really want to be emphasizing minerals with this build. I talk a lot about how gas is a problem because, you know, the build really hardcore spends every bit of gas you can possibly have. But the reason gas is a problem is because we're emphasizing minerals. I mean, just because the build uses all your gas doesn't mean you want more gas and less minerals, because minerals are the only thing that matters for this. So yeah, this is getting kind of out of hand, 40 to 60. What you want to happen is for him to take his third and take his fourth, and be securing them right here, and then you hit him before he can really mine off of them for too long. So if we just look at the amount of money he's had to spend, or been allowed to spend: 8,000, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,000, and you have 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, he's spent about $3,000 more than you at this point total, or something close to that. This spread is kind of bad. What I've said in the past is that Marines are good against Banelings if you cause each Baneling to hit a maximum of 3 Marines, because it takes 2 Banelings to kill a Marine, right? And 2 Banelings costs 150, and 3 Marines cost 150. So your goal is for him to be hitting only 1, but you're okay as long as he doesn't hit more